What's going on, guys? Welcome back to this episode of Restoration with Vic. For today's episode, we're gonna be taking care of these super rare but beat Jason Nike SB Dunks. I recently got these on eBay for a decent price, but we need to bring them back to its former glory. We're gonna go in using our Reshoevn8r Signature Shoe Cleaning Kit and bring the shoe back to life. As you can see, the insides are completely dirty. We're also gonna go in and perform a full sole swap on these shoes. We're gonna have my buddy Sal help us with this project. We're also gonna go in and repaint the white, repaint the black, repaint the red, remove the creasing, and do any other touch-ups needed to bring the shoe back to life. We got a lot of work ahead of us, so let's get started. For this cleaning, we're gonna be using our Reshoevn8r Signature Shoe Cleaning Kit. During the video, I'll show you how exactly you can win one of these for free. The first thing we're gonna do is remove the laces and insoles. Okay, we got both of these insoles and laces fully out of the shoes. We'll give these a nice thorough cleaning later on. Next, we're gonna grab our shoe trees, adjust them to size, and place them inside the shoes. We're gonna grab our 4-ounce bottle of solution, squirt 2 squirts inside our bowl. We got all 3 brushes. We're gonna need them for this cleaning. We're gonna start off using our soft bristle brush to start breaking down all the grime and dirt on the uppers. Alright guys, uppers are pretty decent so far. We're gonna move on to the insides of the shoe. The insides are super disgusting. We got ankle grease all around the sock liner up here. A lot of debris on the inside of the shoe. This is something I should have definitely worn gloves for. I wore it for the black Air Force Ones. It makes no sense that I didn't put some on for these shoes. My hand's already been inside the shoes. We gotta keep it moving forward. As you can see, the insides are looking a little bit better, but there's still a lot of gunk inside. Still pretty dingy. I'm not totally happy with the results. The good thing is, Many Worlds is right next to us. They have this whole cleaning station, a lot of good toys. They have this really sweet pressure washer machine. We're gonna use it to clean up the insides of the shoe, pressure wash all that grime out. But before we do that, we're gonna grab our medium bristle brush and finish cleaning up the uppers. We're not gonna worry about the soles on this cleaning because, I'm gonna replace them with some brand new soles. So we're not gonna worry about the stiff bristle brush for this cleaning. Alright guys, we are back. We got the shoes at the wash machine. They are fully dried and ready to go. The uppers on the outside turned out great. Wasn't really concerned about that. They are still beat, but we'll fix that, of course, later on in this video. Now moving on to this restoration, we're gonna go ahead and remove the soles off the shoes. This is a simple process. The shoes are already starting to separate, but they're being held on by the stitching all around the sole. We're gonna use an X-Acto knife to chop that off so we can remove these soles. Alright, we've got both soles completely off these uppers. We'll come back and reapply brand new soles to these uppers later on. Right now we're going to focus on some detail work. Using a small detail Dremel, we're going to hit all the edges of the leather. Right now it's super crusty and dingy. It's supposed to be a really light color. This is some detail work that's going to be very time consuming, but at the end it'll help with the final product. All done with that step, you guys. Now let's move on to removing the glue off the bottom portion of these uppers. This step is very important. If we don't do it right, the new soles simply won't bond correctly to the uppers. For this part, we'll be using a bigger Dremel. Alright, we're good to go with the donors. The next step we're gonna do is start gluing the soles onto the shoes itself. For this step, I've never done that in the past, so we brought our good friend Sal to help us with this process. What's going on, Sal?
Nothing much, pretty excited to be here, get these back together, and make them look brand new again.
Sweet, dude. So like I mentioned, this is something I've never done in the past. what do we gotta do to start getting the thread out of the sole?
Well, just take your donors and start on the inside. Take the insole out, of course. There's a beginning and an end part right here. Start with like a sewing oil or a flathead, a screwdriver, whatever it is. Just get a piece of it pulled out and just start pulling thread by thread, and eventually you have all of it out of the shoe.
Got it.
And start like this, and then just rinse and repeat all around the shoe. Be careful not to rip it. It is very easy to rip these. You want both, the outside and the inside thread.
Cool. How many Jordan 1s have you done this year?
Say over 100.
100?
Yeah, over.
Damn.
Bro, I know. I wasn't kidding when I said it's like the year of the ones.
Dude, why am I taking so long? I see that you're trucking
Is that
through
the
it.
one with the, I think it has a, because one of these is the inside.
So which one do I gotta rip out? Or did I
Let's
just
see. No, so you leave the inside one in here. Which one is it? Leave this one inside, and then you just leave this, and then pull from here. That thread.
All right, all done with that. The show off over here smoked me when it came to this. Now on
It's
to
all good, man.
now on to the next step. We're gonna remove the glue from the donors. Originally, I thought we were gonna have to use a Dremel, but the glue on these are super old. These are from 2007, so all we gotta do is wipe it off using some acetone and cotton balls. All right, Sal, we're good to go with the prep work. What's next?
So we're gonna use some barge. This is Super Stick. I highly recommend this over Infinity. Then apply it with the paintbrush. We're gonna apply glue all around the outsole, and then we're gonna start off by applying it on the bottom and the sides of the little foam unit, and then we'll clamp that together, and then we'll move on to the uppers. So pretty basic right now. So when you work with this, you wanna do thin, even layers. It's like when you're working with paint. You don't wanna glob it on there.
How many layers do you do?
So I do 2 even layers. The reason I do 2 is mainly to make sure that all areas have glue on it. If you do 1, it may look like all the glue is there, but you could have like this one area where there's just not glue there, and you have to go in and do a touch up. And this one is all glued up everywhere. This one is fine. We'll move on to the foam unit.
All right, we're almost ready, guys. We got our first coats down on the soles and the foam piece. We just gotta hit it with one more coat, let it cure for a bit, and then clamp it.
Yep, yes sir. Okay, so we waited about 5 minutes after applying the 2 evenly thin layers of glue. Now we're gonna go ahead while it's still tacky, put this unit in, and then get glue applied onto here, and then we can move on to the uppers. So if we're ready, let's get into it.
Are we gonna start from the bottom or top?
We're gonna start from the back area right here.
All right.
Take it slow. If you wanna wait, let the glue get non-tacky so that you can do section by section. But if you're comfortable enough, go ahead and start putting it in. Kind of a tip, spread it open so that way you have extra room. And then just place it. As long as it's there and for comfortability reasons, that's all that matters. Make sure all edges are clamped. The recommended time is 24 hours to let the glue cure before you do any sort of stress testing or wearing or anything. So that way the glue is like permanently bonded. If you do anything in between that, you could interfere with the gluing process and the curing process. Perfect, we're good.
All right, we're getting there. What's next?
So we are checking the fitment of the shoe. So we wanna make sure that before we add any glue, that we don't have to shave any of this. But since Vic was smart enough to keep the original insole or unit, whatever you wanna call it, the fitment is legitimately perfect. We don't have to do any sort of modification to the shoe whatsoever. So before you go and add glue, always make sure your fitment's good. Especially on any sort of midsole swap when you're using a brand new, dimensions are not the same as the base shoe. They're always gonna be off. So we already checked it, it's perfect. We're gonna get to applying the 2 layers on the upper and 1 more layer on this upper part of the foam unit, and we'll be good to clamp it in like a couple of hours.
All right, you go for it first.
Okay. So we are freehanding it. If you do not feel comfortable enough to freehand it, you can get some tape. There's nothing wrong with tape. The only reason I don't like tape is sometimes it doesn't do its job. Sometimes it lifts and it gets through. Yeah,
especially
I don't
on
like
a shoe
that.
that's this flimsy. The tape doesn't hold up very well, so you're better off freehanding it.
So get a nice brand new brush and just apply the glue. If you guys haven't noticed, on the older shoes, there's always glue lines, and they turn yellow because of the oxidation. But it's just, it's sort of like a stress factor. If you put two things together right here, it's more prone to fall apart with all the wearing and all that. So instead of just here and here, on the upper of the shoe, add just a little bit of glue.
Slight piece right there.
Yeah, a slight piece on the upper that will hold it and keep it strong.
Makes total sense. That's pretty smart. All right, guys, we just got back from lunch. We got some bomb-ass tacos.
That was pretty good.
Now, we let the shoe dry or cure for about an hour, right?
Yeah, and it's already not tacky, so it's ready for us to get to the next step.
So all we gotta do now is heat it up and then start clamping it?
Yeah, exactly. And for these shoes in particular, because the toe cap's a little bit misshaped just because of the wear and tear, we're gonna start with the toe cap first, and then we're gonna let that dry for about 10 minutes, and then hit the back. And then once those two are 100% secured, we're gonna move our way to the sides.
All right.
That's just so you can get like the best fitment. So if anyone's like a noob or training or something like that, that's like the best way to go, is going section by section, because if you do have a hiccup, you don't have to take the whole shoe apart or stuff like that. So
starts right there.
Yeah, it's easier.
All right.
Let's go.
You, sir.
I'm doing the first one.
You're doing both.
I'm gonna have Vic maybe do the other one on the sides.
We'll see how this one goes, and then we'll talk.
And because it has that dial, you can control that. But I've been doing it for so long, I kind of just do-doom, and
just know.
It's there, you know? Okay, let's get this going. Kind of. All right. I lightly tap it in areas that I want it to hold. In areas that I don't like the fitment, I don't let it touch at all until I'm ready for it to touch. You gotta learn how to finesse if you're gonna restore.
Master of finesse.
Because if you see this gap,
yeah, it's not bad at all.
It's not bad, but shoes usually aren't like that. Wait till we're finished with it, watch. It's gonna look like it wasn't even there. You gotta get up all up in here. And make sure your hands are grease-free when you're doing this. It's the same thing with when you're applying the glue. You don't want any of the grease to get on the areas you have glue on. And then pass me the heat gun, Vic, please. We're gonna do something called post-heating. What this is it's making sure that your glue is not 100% set, because it needs 24 hours, but at least right now it is holding. Because if you put the heat on it and it falls apart, it's not, you did something wrong. You didn't prep it or something, because you know when people wrap cars and they post-heat like the corners and stuff like that and it pulls up, that's exactly what this is. So it's just a measure of making sure your glue is holding. I see probably, nope, not right there. I thought I was gonna need a touch-up, but we don't. Doesn't look like we're gonna need a touch-up anywhere. And instead of waiting to do the back, what do you say? We just hop right into the back and have it cure together right here.
Let's do it.
Yeah? You wanna do it?
No.
No? You wanna see me do it first?
Oh.
Okay. Also, another thing is people tend to try to get this to stick by heating the inside. What I would recommend is get the front to stick and the back to stick, and then you get the middle to stick.
Gotcha.
Because sometimes the heat can't penetrate it enough, and it just doesn't stick like at all. Touch. But you don't want to do the whole thing, because then you have no room for play, and you need a lot of playroom when you're gluing. Because it's not as easy as people think, where you just set it down and it glues. You gotta do a lot of finessing sometimes, especially with shoes that are worn. Okay, make sure you're not crooked, sideways, anything. You wanna make sure it's straight. Kind of just eyeball it. And then put down your first area. And boom. That's pretty cool. Push this up. Then just push down like with that, about 15 PSI with your hands. Of course, you're not gonna calculate it, but just push hard basically, and then hold it for a bit. And the rest of it will follow. We are going to be giving this time to cure the front and the toe, just so that way when we're messing with it, it doesn't fall apart. So now we're just gonna repeat what we did on the first pair on the second pair and get them all clamped together all around. Pass the gun, yeah, thank you.
That's it for the gluing, guys. I'm honestly super impressed on how this came out. Alignment's on point. I was super hesitant on how it was gonna turn out, Sal, because we had some really big gaps all around. But after the gluing was all done, it just all lined up perfectly. Like
just a little bit of finesse, man, and that's all it takes.
All it is, massive finesse over here. The last thing we gotta do, dude, is just kind of sew it back onto the shoe. We gotta use a sewing awl and the original thread that well, not technically the original thread, we use donors, but you know
it's close enough.
So again, this is something I've never done before. I know it's a pattern to it. I know it's a simple process once you get the pattern, you know, down. So how do we go about it?
So we already started the first process. Put the thread in the sewing awl, put it in here, take one part out, and then create a knot. So that way it cannot be pulled out from the other side, just that way it's 100% secured. And then you can start the actual sewing process. So what you wanna do is have it straight, one side here and one side here. Put it into the original, follow the original holes. And then always pull from the left side of the sewing hole, because if you pull from the right side, it's gonna create a knot and you're gonna have to redo that stitch over again. So you just kind of pull the slack from the left side, it'll come out like this. You pull this in there, and that's when you get this, take this thread, put it in this loop, and tie a knot so that way it doesn't go anywhere. Tie a really good knot, because you're gonna be putting a lot of tension on this by pulling it and tugging it, making sure that the thread is in between the leather and the midsole, or outsole in this case. Like that's cool. Pull the slack back. Be careful with this needle. I've stabbed myself so many times. There we go. There we go. And then we just rinse and repeat.
Okay, right through it again.
Make sure we're
left
good.
hand side.
Go in, and left side,
Gotcha.
like that, boom. Rinse and repeat.
So technically I'm poking it this way, and then I'm just gonna pull from
the left side, yes.
All right, that's it. We got the stitching all around the sole. Honestly, that wasn't hard at all. The pattern,
really.
the trick to it isn't too hard at all. I got it off camera. I got to do the second shoe, but I'm not worried about it at all.
He got this, he learned a lot. The hardest part I was telling him is really just the toe cap, because it's so small in there and cramped, but he got this, he's a pro now.
Super pro. Sal, thank you so much, dude, for helping out with the shoe. I am gonna wear these, so I needed the pro here on this video.
How to make sure they're wearable, huh?
100%, man. Got both shoes though.
They're gonna look fire, man. After you do the rest of it, I'm pretty excited to see how it comes out. So thanks for having me. If any of you guys want to follow me, my Instagram is @SalTheSneakerhead. Same with my YouTube, and on my Instagram I have my website. If you guys ever want to cop any like luxury stuff, phone cases, watch bands. I don't make my Air Forces anymore. I strictly just do watch bands and stuff like that. But thanks again for having me. Really appreciate the opportunity and getting these looking brand new with you.
Honestly, man, I still am not a pro at gluing, so I do have more projects in the works for the future. So if you want to come back,
yeah, of course,
let me know, man.
I'm right there, man. I'm down to come back.
All right, Sal, much appreciated, dude.
All right, peace out, guys.
All cut up with this restoration. Now we're gonna move on to laying down the paint on the uppers. Off camera, I went ahead and removed the scratches off the side of the leather on both shoes using the sandpaper method. I used the 600 grit and 400 grit. All we gotta do now is tape off the soles and some areas of the uppers so we can lay down our paint using the airbrush. White looks awesome. We covered up all those scuffs all around. Now onto the black. For this part, we'll be using a paintbrush and regular black paint. Black and white is good to go. Those parts were easy. Now we're on to the harder part. For the red, it's going to be a little bit tricky. Originally on a dead stock pair, the paint job isn't fully solid. It has very tiny cracks all around. I can replicate that, but I can't touch it up. We got this color that's super close to the original color. Using a little paintbrush, we're going to go around all the edges to make it look a lot sharper. Afterwards, we're going to try a different method to try to make the red more presentable. Good to go with the edges. This was super time consuming, but it's the detail that matters. Now onto the rest of the red leather. For this part, we're gonna have to finesse it like Sal said. There's really no easy way to do this. We're just gonna have to apply some red paint here and there, and then using some leather balm, we're gonna kind of smear it into the rest of the leather. We're just kind of trying to stain it and make it more presentable. It's not gonna be perfect, but it's gonna look a lot better than what it is now. Alright guys, that is going to bring us to an end on these Nike SB Jason Dunk restoration. In my opinion, this is the best restoration I've done on our channel so far. A lot of work went into them. The very first step we did was use our Reshoevn8r Signature Shoe Cleaning Kit to give the shoe a proper deep clean inside and out. Afterwards, my buddy Sal came over to help us perform a full mental swap on these shoes. We got rid of the old soles. The old soles had no grip, super heel drag, so we went in and replaced them with some brand new soles. Then afterwards, we did a lot of painting on the shoe. We repainted the white, repainted the black, and touched up the red all around. Removed the creases as well, and of course, we removed the scratches all around the shoe. Now, let's get into the giveaway. We are giving away a signature shoe cleaning kit. All you gotta do is comment down below your favorite Jason movie with your Instagram handle. Winner will be contacted in 72 hours. Good luck everybody, this is Vick Almighty. Catch you guys next time.